Susie. Sarah. I once read that names which begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
I created this character basically. It was on the page, but recently I reread the script and I looked at Olga and I'm like, I really created Olga there. I really created this. I nailed that one. Actually, performing in some fashion was before acting. I started ballet very young, at 4 years old, and then I loved the music and be able to move to it and interpret something, right? And from there it grew, into performing, poems, plays at school, and I really enjoyed that because I realized that had an effect on people, right? This communication had an effect on people. It could move them, it could inspire them, it could scare them, but it would move them. So I think that's how I got interested in it. I got that movie, I was having lunch with my mother. I was very young, I was like 13, not even yet, I think. And the crew of this film and the director and part of the cast as well were eating in this restaurant, where I was lunching with my mother. And the director saw me and basically approached us and said, how would you like to play this role in, will be the lead, in the movie, the star in the movie when she was young. And I was like, whoa, I got my, I got my wish, right? I almost thought at that point, wow, I made that happen because, I had decided to go that way and this came to me. In the 70s, it was wild, unrestrained, the movie industry in Italy. It was like, that's the time where, there were like a lot of giallo genre coming up. Role for women at the time, well, I'd say they were either victims in those movies, right? Or vixens, It's like it was either one or the other. But yeah, I think there were some interesting movies where there were roles, that would be, certainly better than later on.
Squawk, squawk, squawk. Mata Hari is going to file her report.
I came involved in Suspiria. I just finished shooting a movie and I had taken off for, the weekend, I remember. And, I didn't even get there where I wanted to be, right? And my agent says, you need to come back right away because Dario Argento wants to see you. So I was there in the day after, in the production. And that's where I met Dario for the first time. From the moment that I got in his office, right? The audition, I don't even know if that was an audition. I don't know what it was, but it was a different approach, right? He actually gave me this huge script. It was that thick, Suspiria script, right? It's read Suspiria. I'm like, wow, what the hell? I'm not sure. He was sitting right across from me like that. And he says, check out Olga. Take a look at Olga, right? And I read this role, this character. And then he asked me, so how do you see her? How would you play her? And I'm like this, I would do that, And he liked it. I guess he liked what I said, right? And then he said, okay, he put me in the middle of the room. There was basically a bare room there. And he started going around me with, like, if he had the camera lens, you know, and he asked me to move a certain way, and then he got very excited, and that's it, and I was off.
Hey, thanks. My room is really pretty.
Like it?
Uh-huh.
That makes me happy. I bet we'll do nicely together. I think you're sweet.
Dario is like a child, you know, in a playground when he shoots, right? At the same time, he so much wants to see his vision, you know, there, that he's so, his attention to details, right? And his perfectionism, you know, will get out of, you know, you will want to give the best, because otherwise he will like, okay, we're not doing it. And with me, it helped me because as I was saying, I was tracking right along with that. I like that. And we became friends. Dario and I, we became friends from the moment we met. Absolutely, you know. But I remember one time in particular where I was shooting, before we shot the scene in my apartment, you know, he came to my dressing room to check the, you know, the costume and everything, and he asked me, who did your makeup? I'm like, the makeup artist, right? And he was looking at me and said, something is not right. He didn't say anything, but that's what he was saying. And he said, is this how Olga will put her makeup on? And I looked at myself. And I'm like, Olga, no, probably not, right? But you get the idea, right? He wanted me to totally be in character. So he said, do your makeup as Olga would do it. You do it, right? And I'll come back. So I did my makeup like in character. And he came back and he said, okay, let's roll. But that's Dario. That's how perfect it should be. Down to the last little detail, that if you a little bit, you know, so I guess it helped a lot. It helped.
My name is Olga, and you're my tenant.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
They tell me you have to give me $50 a week.
Yeah.
In advance.
Well, Olga is a key role. Absolutely. I mean, take Olga away and the movie wouldn't be the same. I mean, Olga is a witchette, a little witch. Like Dario used to call me on set La mia streghina, which means my witch, my little witch. And obviously she was working with the coven of witches, right, to get some prey for them. And I'm like really a bitch, you know, with the newcomer, right? And that's what Olga was. Also very different than the other girls, you know, because I was supposed to be a student at the last year of the academy. I was already done basically with the academy studies, right? And that's why I was living outside, not in the school. And, you know, so I was definitely a witch.
That poor kid ending up like that. I can't even think about it. I heard you saw her yesterday evening.
Uh-huh. Outside the school.
Jessica was kind of a little timid, a little lost. I remember that myself and Stefania Casini, right, were trying to get her out, you know what I'm saying, to hang out and but she was very reserved, very, very nice, very friendly, but very reserved. And I became friends with Alida Valli, who played Miss Tanner. She was amazing. She gave me advice, you know, she became sort of my mentor on the movie. I actually remember the first time on the first day on the set, and I met John Bennett, and Alida Valli and Jessica Harper. I was like, oh my God, this is great.
I offer you our Academy's official welcome in the name of our directress, who unfortunately is not here at the moment. She's traveling abroad.
Thank you.
Originally, Suspiria, Dario wanted to have girls in the Academy that were 12, 13 years old. But obviously, they wouldn't let him do that, right? Like in Italy, forget it. It would have been completely, it would have been censored completely, right? So he didn't accept that. And he kept, the sets so tall, right? And if you look in the film, right, when people go open doors, the door handles are way up here, right? They're not at the usual, you know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to keep that, because, keep the child like if we were a child. I think the sets were amazing, and they did help to, in the grandeur of the movie, like it was such a, it's almost like an opera to me, Suspiria.
1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2.
I know that I had a scene that never got shot, and for which I actually trained, I think 3 months before the movie. I did ballet training, I performed this thing because I was supposed to dance as the, last year, student, of the Academy. I was supposed to dance at the ballet. At some point in the movie, everybody goes to see the Bolshoi ballet. And that's when Jessica Harper discovers whatever she discovers, obviously. I was supposed to dance in that ballet, and it never got shot. The whole scene never got shot because Dario thought it would take away from the suspense, because it would give away, the momentum of the suspense will give it away, because, you see me there and you see other. He didn't want to mess with that. I remember I was shooting another movie when the movie came out. Now, remember, they called me. I actually was there for a long time when they were doing the music with Claudio Simonetti and the Goblins. I was there after, in post-production, so I saw the movie there, right? And then, I don't know when I saw the movie exactly, but I thought it was great when I saw it. I think I was at the premiere of the movie, yeah, in Italy. And it was amazing. I think I made some mistakes after Suspiria, or my agency made some mistakes, because that could have been the platform, the launching platform. I could have totally basically made the switch from Europe, to US at that point, and that's what should have happened. But you look back at things, from a different viewpoint, and most definitely it gave me that opportunity. But even if it's many years later, it's still giving it to me now. Everywhere I went in the world, I have had fans, come, you know what I'm saying? A lot of fans everywhere. France, Europe, Italy, Japan. It's amazing, right? But when I first came to US and I discovered these conventions, and I was invited at conventions, and I really got to interact with the fans and the amount of fans and the popularity of this movie and the success of this movie and their age even, because some fans of mine are really young, right? And I was blown away. I was overwhelmed by that. I was absolutely overwhelmed by the amount of, love for this movie. The movie to me is like a fairy tale. It's something that you tell, you pass on, it's like a good song. I could tell when we were shooting it, somehow, that this was gonna be something. Not always you get that feeling, right? But there was a sense of power and something was going on with this movie. And, we had a lot of fun shooting it. And as Dario said to me, not so long ago when we were at a convention together, he said to me about Suspiria, right, and about my character, and he said, we really did a very good job on that one, and I think we did, because it's been a cult classic. It became a cult classic. So thank you to all the fans, because if you hadn't liked it that much, it wouldn't be what it is. We wouldn't be here, right? We do it for the fans.